Hello, it's Dave here. Myself and Cathy are on paternity leave for a few weeks because last week our beautiful little baby boy was born healthy and happy. So we do have a few episodes that we recorded to bank and put out in the interim. Here's the first one. It's a conversation that Cathy recorded with her dad over the phone in which he had a few things to say about Dunkirk. Warning, there are some spoilers in this, so watch out for that. Enjoy.
So, hello everyone, welcome to a very special episode of The Cinemile. This is a brief bonus review of Dunkirk, which Dave and I viewed a few weeks ago and raved about, but we both admitted that we knew nothing about the history and had barely heard of the battle before we saw the movie, so we judged it purely from film perspective. However, I was speaking to my dad the other day, Jimmy, who is a big film watcher but also big history buff, and he was telling me all the flaws about the movie historically. So I've invited him on the podcast. He's on the phone, our first ever phone guest. Hello, Dad.
Good morning, Cathy. Nice to be on the Cinemile.
Yes, your first appearance. Mom's been on a lot of times, so you've catching up to do.
Yeah, well, I'm slightly nervous, but I'm sure your listeners will forgive me.
Yes. And so this is just a really brief little chat, basically, because I was really interested in all the things Dad told me that were wrong with the movie. So, Dad, the floor is yours.
Okay, Cathy. Just to put it in context, I really enjoyed the first half of the film, and then during the second half of it, the inaccuracies in it began to grate with me. And just to mention a few, that the evacuation was made possible by a number of things, but a very important element in it was the role the French played in protecting Dunkirk, the beaches and such like. And I think the film was amiss not to bring that out more to the fore. Like there was a nominal French character in the film, and I don't think they did quite justice to the role that heroic role, in fact, that the French played to facilitate that evacuation. That'd be one aspect to it.
And what do you think, if from the perspective that it's a British filmmaker and he's grounded this as a British story, do you think the movie should have had a wider remit than that and focus on French and British sides equally, or they just should have done anything with the French side?
No, I wouldn't have thought that they would have needed to do it equally, because I take the point that it was focused on these guys trying to get off the beach. But I think it was remiss not to cover the fact that they wouldn't have got off the beach at all if it wasn't for the role the French played.
Yeah, I didn't get that, I have to say. The only French character really was the guy who fled and was pretending to be English.
Yeah,
so
and that was very incidental to the plot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other aspect of it, though, is that in terms of the guys who were being evacuated, well, I'm sure as your listeners and the film watchers would have noticed that everybody was white.
Yes.
Number one. And number two, everybody had an English accent, as in from the country of England. Now, so this, it becomes historically very incorrect here, at least to the best of my knowledge. Because the British Expeditionary Force, it was a British force. So, at a minimum it included Scots and Welsh and Irish. And I don't think we heard a Scottish-Irish accent, a Welsh accent, or an Irish accent. And I've also seen reports that there was people there from the colonies, the British colonies. I don't think I saw one non-white person in it.
Yeah.
So, as portrayed on the beaches, to suggest that there was only white-speaking English people present, I think that's a pretty bad error to make. So even I think dramatically the way it was done and what people were going through trying to escape off it, and indeed the wonderful achievement that Dunkirk represented, that was excellent. But they have so many kind of inaccuracies about the personnel. I think unwittingly or otherwise, it opens the film to being a form of racist propaganda. Now, this becomes pretty serious at this point. So because it's suggesting something happened in a certain way from a race point of view that is just incorrect.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's
and then you did point out one of the advocates of the movie has been Nigel Farage.
Well, indeed.
Yeah.
So it's a film that left me with kind of with mixed views on it. Like I think it caught kind of the carnage of war and the heroism involved very well. But I think the fact that it was to such a degree unbalanced about the roles that people other than white English played, I found that disturbing, really. Mm-hmm. And even if, because this is the way it goes into the public arena at this point now, if you go and chase up Dunkirk on the web, what you're immediately brought is hard to get beyond the film at the minute. So the film is the one that's kind of dictating the view of it. Because it's good luck to them, it's a successful film, but I'm afraid that view is quite unbalanced.
Interesting. Thank you, Dad. This is amazing perspective. What we should do really if we're going to historical movies is just fly you over and bring you along.
Oh, yes, if this, I'd be quite happy to accept the invitation from the Cinemile anytime.
Okay, so next time we have you on will be in person, and thank you so much. This is brilliant.
Okay, that it?
Okay, bye.
Okay, cheerio.